Good morning and welcome to the LAArtist Podcast. Today we have our studio, as you know, and the amazing and vibrantly colorful Natasha.
Hello.
And I am your host, Mr. David Ronald. You are listening to the LAArtist Podcast, where we chat with local artists about their works, styles, what influenced them to start their artist journey, and more. Subscribe so you don't miss the latest episode. And to see bonus content, check out our website on the description below. This podcast is produced by LAArtist Gallery, an LA-based gallery and studio space dedicated to showcase work from upcoming artists, as well as provide space for art shows, workshops, photo and film production. Feel free to check out the gallery at laartistgallery.com.
Oh yeah, like that.
Give or take. So welcome to the LAArtist Podcast.
LAArtist.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to say it. You know, it's LAArtist Podcast. LAArtist Podcast, same thing. And how you been?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's fun to get to come actually hang out here and not just be dropping or picking up art.
Yes.
Get to chill for a second, but I've been good. I'm happy to be a LAArtist and to be able to be here.
LAArtist.
LAArtist.
And so, yeah, we've known each other for a couple years now. And I do remember one of the first
3 months.
times we met,
Give or
was
take.
Probably, like 32 months,
32.
you know?
I would say 31 and a half.
39.
Okay.
You'd be rounding up. but-
31, maybe 0.46. But yeah, I remember, you guys vending at a couple events I was at even before I really met you guys.
Yeah.
But of course, Andrew's robots are very memorable and I love color. So, I can't forget seeing especially your rainbow pieces
Hey.
stuck in my head, and then seeing your typewriter. That was the first time I ever saw David, was sitting at his typewriter at a booth, and I thought that was
Clicking
such a
and clacking.
cool
Well,
original.
where was that? That was in Santa.
In Costa Mesa.
Mesa.
Yeah.
I just had an idea for our collab.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you about it
Yeah.
later.
Okay. We'll keep
Not
it
in
the
this
secrets.
podcast,
The
'cause-
secrets.
No,
If you
could-
want to know the idea for the collaboration between Tasha and I, it's going to be behind the $50 paywall.
Yeah.
So make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
I say that joke every time.
And yeah.
Fine.
Let me know in the comments below if you're tired of that joke.
But yeah, we could talk about the collaboration idea on the after show, on the
Mm.
post show,
Mm.
and
So
whatnot.
stay tuned next week.
Stay tuned next week. But yeah, it was in Costa Mesa. We had a couple other artist friends that were doing the same shows and
Mhm.
stuff like that. That's how we got connected.
Mhm.
And then you invited us over to you had your own show
In
at-
my house.
at
That
your
was
house.
fun.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
It-
guys did a good job.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. It worked out so well because it was 2021, summer of 2021. I had my Shift release show. That was the series of 28 paintings that I did called Shift. And it was interesting. It was still a very lonely time because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a perfect summer because everyone was looking for something to do, but there wasn't really events happening so much yet.
Yeah.
And I kind of caught a sweet spot where COVID wasn't too scary and just had, all my art friends come over to my house. I was like, you don't have to always have a show in a gallery. You can make your own gallery, as
There
you
you
guys
go.
know,
There you
go.
do it yourself. And I think it really paid off. And that was kind of me declaring to my friends and family, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm making this rainbow art and I'm going to do it in series and I'm going to show it off. And I felt so supported that day. And
Nice.
we had a little station in my painting room where I let you guys go ham with the clay
Yes.
and the
It was
paint.
a nice little playroom. It was a
Yeah.
playroom.
Yes, the rainbow playroom.
Yeah, because it was fun. You had like a station where people can paint it on a canvas do some clay, do some resin work as well.
Some fluid pouring.
Yeah. That's the technical
Fluid art. But I still have the painting. I at least I feel like 10 people painted on this one canvas, and it's in my house. I love it. I will never give that away or sell it or anything.
Unless someone gives you $3 billion.
True.
No less.
I wish I had it here.
No less.
Start the auction. Now I'm like...
We'll see if we can put it on our website where you can see more behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, the collab piece.
Because it was a fun... It was what was the size of the canvas? It was
18 by 24.
18 by 24-ish?
It was a square, so I think it might have been around 20 by 20-ish, somewhere around there. 24 by 24, something like that. But
something.
Yeah.
I forgot.
It was one of the...
Yeah, I thought it was a rectangle for some reason.
I just saw it. I swear it's a square. I'll send a
sure?
pic. I built the canvas.
Sure?
That's when I was building square canvases.
So it was 23 by 23.
Yeah. It was
so it was
slightly off.
I built it. It was, probably like 23.2,
Yeah.
And then
by
the
24.
other. But yeah,
By 20,
a square.
It was so close. Yeah, and because you do a lot of vibrant colors, you do a lot of rainbows, and if you're seeing the video, we have a couple of her pieces up. If you're seeing the audio, then you can see some of the photos that we'll be posting on our website, and then you can obviously follow her, which will be linked in the description. But what got you started in the colorful journey that you see today?
Yeah, and it's cool. The pieces that are here are from the series we were talking about. But I did a lot before this series that was straight out rainbow, unapologetically rainbow, because it's literally stripes of rainbow colors. Before that, I always was attracted to vibrant color in general. Just literally since I was a kid. Why how can we explain it? You love color. We're just drawn to it. It's just exciting, it gets me inspired. Neutral colors are cool and all. It's cool to feel peaceful, but I like art that energizes me. And this series, specifically the Shift series, which is a lot of rainbow paintings, was actually kind of a way for me to process tough emotions during the pandemic. That series has more heavy personal emotional meaning. Even though they look like fun rainbows, each one has kind of an emotion or an experience or a transformation that I went through during a hard time, and painting them was a way for me to literally learn the lessons. And now I can look at it and be like, okay, I remember learning some things. Let me try not to have to relearn the same lessons over and over. So they help me, even though some of the newer art I make is a little less deep and it's more just about vibrancy and fun and happy art.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because you had mentioned that you went to school to study animation.
Yes. I have my degree in digital arts with an emphasis in animation, and I made a film called Miss Roboto. Have you ever seen it? I need to send it to you.
Please.
Oh my gosh.
Please send it to me.
Is it out in the world? Is it on YouTube or whatnot?
It's on it might be on YouTube. I might have finally put it on
her
YouTube.
MySpace. I
It's
think she
on
put it
Vimeo.
She put it on her MySpace.
Yeah, my MySpace page.
Yeah,
but
we'll try to link it on the description. But yeah.
I'll send it to you for sure. It was, it went to film festivals and whatnot, and that was all super fun. And it's very vibrant. It's very much looks like you're painting over there.
Yay.
It's very much inspired by The Simpsons colors, so it's
Nice.
flat shapes and bright colors. But it's a family-friendly short film, and it was really cool to get to be in film festivals and all that. But at that point, I was over sitting on the computer all day making art and realizing that I always loved painting, and I just kind of realized that was my true love, and I had to kind of branch out and do a lot of other things to learn that. I really just wanted to get back to painting.
So now you're sitting in front of a canvas all day.
Yeah.
Which
It's very different.
it
Very different.
it is very different. It hurts your eyes a little less.
No, we're working with colors.
The bright color can be rough, but
well,
they're not lit as the same
Yeah.
as a screen.
Yeah, it's better to have even just regular lights at night on lighting up your canvas wherever it is that
Mhm.
you're working versus having a screen literally shoot light into your eyeball,
Mhm.
which
I don't
is
know
what
the difference.
which is I do that every day. so when you mentioned that, I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm in front of a computer a lot.
I mean, so many great creatives are. That's definitely when I started getting neck pain. That college was when like all my neck and back pain started, and I found it's the stillness that hurts me more, and that's why I like to be active in front of a canvas. You can stand up, you can get your arms going. You know, it's kind of therapeutic in
So
that
what you're
way.
saying is that if for people that want to be active and still be behind or in front of a computer, get a standing desk,
Oh yeah.
get a giant keyboard so that you can press
Yes.
each key
A
with your hand. That way you're always
or a
active.
foot keyboard.
Yeah, that would be for the mouse.
Really
For the mouse, yeah.
getting a real good workout in.
But that's cool. And then from there, once you started to do painting, what medium did you start with? Did you start with just acrylics, or
Mhm.
did you go straight into other mediums?
Mhm. So I'll try not to give too much backstory, but I was lucky enough. This is a podcast, so I'll
Yeah,
give a
it is-
little backstory. But I was
All about the backstory.
lucky
Yeah.
enough to start learning oils as a kid. I was super lucky because I
At
went.
what age?
I was pretty young.
23?
I was probably probably like around 6. You had to
Oh, wow.
start
Toddler.
with like they were really fancy Rembrandt chalk pastels, and then
Ooh.
you got to learn watercolor. It was very fancy, very
Nice.
fancy. Mission Renaissance. It's a chain. They still have them after school programs. And then they got to teach us oil painting, but it was all about master duplications. We had to, make replicas of master paintings. So it was very focused on kind of replicating art rather than making your own style. But they're kids,
That's how a lot of schools teach.
It
You gotta
is.
learn to replicate the old masters,
First,
and then forget
yeah.
everything and do your own thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But at least
you'll
know
still
you-
have the
You
fundamentals.
have the
Mhm.
fundamentals.
You'll have the fundamentals.
Yeah, and I like that part of it, but I still wasn't quite learning what art really was at that age. I was just learning techniques, and it wasn't really until college and I took art history classes. I wanted to do an art history minor, but couldn't do it and graduate in time. And that's when I really started to realize what art was and how it was expressing stuff that was going on in society during that time, or personal things, where growing up, I was always like, I love doing this thing, art, but more for the tactile, hands-on aspect of it. And I didn't really understand the deeper meaning quite yet. So I do, when I teach kids, I like to still expose them a little bit to that kind of free form creativity
Mhm.
to them, and they enjoy it. When I
Nice.
tell them there's no mistakes, they love that,
Yes. Tell them paint outside the box.
Yes.
Yes.
It's okay to be messy.
Yes.
And then with that in mind, with some of like the old masters that you would have to replicate and stuff like that, were there like specific artists that you kind of evolved from, or like grabbed some of their techniques from, or were
Mhm.
influenced by?
Well, a little bit later, I would say, in those painting classes, it was very much, Van Gogh, Monet, the kind of biggest classical artists, and they were cool and all. But when I learned about Magritte, the Belgian surrealists, which was more of a classic oil painting style, but surreal objects, in everyday objects in surreal kind of situations. Like I love called The Listening Room. It's like a room and it's just got a giant apple in it that's like filling up the whole room. So Magritte was like my first kind of really master that I really loved, just because it was a lot different than a lot of those classical paintings they were showing us in school.
Yeah, and again,
cool.
for our audio listeners and our video listeners, René Magritte.
Yes.
He is also known for the man with the apple for the face.
And
the bowler
this is
cap.
not a pipe.
Yes, this is not a pipe, which essentially is just a giant pipe that says this is not a pipe in French. Mm-hmm. Is it in French?
I think it's in French. Yeah.
Yeah, and then some of his other works would be like the one where's the cityscape, or not really a cityscape, but you'll see a street with a couple buildings, and then for raindrops is men falling.
Yeah.
The guy with the bowler cap. I can't remember the name of the piece.
The Son of Man
the
is
Son
the
of
one
Man,
with the
yes.
apple. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the bowler cap and then the apple for the face. But
it's a great Halloween costume when people do Magritte with like an apple. It's a good one that not everyone knows, but if you know it, you're like, you're cool.
Yeah, and again, he's obviously, if you see the painting, you're like, oh, that's his name.
Yeah,
he's from Belgium. But yeah, no, he's an amazing surrealist artist.
I used to call him Henry Magritte, and then I had a painting teacher yell at me, "It's
like,
René! It's René! I'll never forget that."
Yes.
It's a weird painting teacher.
Yeah, definitely have had a few experiences here and there with painting teachers that were not so good, like that.
Have you became one of those weird painting
That's
teachers?
why I try not to be. That's why when I did start teaching, I kind of did the opposite of what those teachers did to me, where they're, telling me, oh, that's cliche. I've been told that a few times by teachers, and maybe it was cliche, but I was just a student,
Yeah.
Like I'm not there in my 100% original style yet.
You're still on the learning process. You're still in the journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
So don't do that if you're an art teacher.
I will definitely do that. like you're bad.
Like I will definitely never be an art teacher.
Yeah, the art teacher in me can always find something good about a piece of art, because when you teach kids, you're not going to be super hard on them. So I always find something good, at least me.
They're either prodigies or
nothing.
Nobody.
You say, nope. You're 5 and you're already done with art.
Fired.
You're fired.
You're fired, you 5-year-old.
The art apprentice.
Yes.
And but with that, like, was there something that you had to overcome? Like, obviously growing up doing art, and then you were doing animation, and then got back into art. Was it hard to have that process of like, okay, I was doing art as a kid, but then I wanted to have quote unquote real job in animation or whatever, and then like, it's not for me. How do I go back to art?
I had started going into backstory and then we got sidetracked, but so I thought my passion for art in general would translate to animation, but it didn't. But I was actually already, since high school, I was painting in people's homes. I worked with an interior designer, local one, who hooked me up with her clients, and I painted in some like kids' rooms and some things on canvases or some decals of flowers around the room or little things like that, whatever I could do to make a little money and get a little experience. And then did a little bit of that even through college. But after graduating and not wanting to pursue animation was definitely a little bit of a scary slap in the face. Like, you're in the real world now, and I still have a lot of student debt. So kind of freaking out at that moment. What the heck am I going to do with my future? And my brother, who was working at Trader Joe's, told me that one of the sign artists just quit. So I went and painted signs in the back of a Trader Joe's for over a year. So that's a really cool kind of, young artist job you can have.
Yeah.
That is cool. Yeah, because like obviously my girlfriend, she loves Trader Joe's, and
Mhm.
like the art that is there, it's amazing.
It's all hand done.
Yeah. Yeah. At first, I was like, where do they get or like who's their printer to print that
Right?
big?
Mm-mm.
And what mediums did you use, like for Trader Joe's? Because a
Uh-huh.
lot of it looks like it's chalk, but I'm guessing it's
Mhm.
acrylic. And
I think each store might be different, but I'm pretty sure they all used to use chalk. And so what happened while I was working at that Trader Joe's is we moved our store across the street and opened a brand new one. And we weren't allowed to bring any of the old art. We had to decorate the new store all from scratch. And we ended up switching we were using chalk pastels on some kind of matte board for our end cap signs. To then we were using a different style board that we had to paint on. And then I finally got, which I know you guys both love, are the Posca pens.
Never heard of them.
That finally I forgot what the first paint pen I was using there was, but I used a lot of brush with acrylic paint. But then when I started using the Posca pens, I was like, oh, this gets way easier.
So good.
yeah,
So
because they also
opaque.
and they also even have like chalk pens as well.
That can erase.
That can erase as well.
We didn't do that because I think they just got damaged too easily. So we would paint the whole board with black paint and start over when we needed a new board.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then from there, did using those paints or those colors help you develop your own style?
Yeah, I at least maybe not for the things that I'm doing for my personal art these days, but it helped me start kind of a business side of my art, which was a lot of hand lettering. And when I ended up quitting Trader Joe's because I just wanted to be able to dedicate time to my art, and I just kind of jumped off the deep end. I'm going to be a full-time freelancer. And I was able to use a lot of those hand lettering skills for my friend who works for Red Bull, for wedding signage, for baby shower, So at that point, I was just whatever people would pay me for, I
Nice.
would paint. And that was okay with me. Not every artist can do that. But I just wanted to be creating and, getting paid for it at that point, even if it wasn't the art that I'm making today. But I kind of had to go through that to get here. So
Yeah, which I feel like it's definitely the part of the journey to. Obviously, you have to eat.
Yeah,
you have to pay bills. You have to work. So it's like use your skills for somebody else's vision, but you're still painting, you're still drawing, you're still creating anyway. So
yeah, and those technical skills, like we were talking about teaching kids, those technical skills, they are important, so you have to practice those technical skills to then experiment and try new things.
Yeah,
One day I'll start practicing. One day.
Oh really? The millions of robots, you still haven't started after who knows what
about 10
life, but I can see a lot just in front of me right now.
I'm gonna go back to studying who did
Renee? Oh no. Who?
No, not Renee.
Oh, from your podcast? Oh, from your podcast. From your episode? I don't know. We recorded that a while back.
No, the
Monet.
No.
Renee.
Oh, Matisse? Wait.
I mean, I do
Dolly.
I do like Matisse.
We should start naming.
I feel like you might have mentioned Matisse, but maybe not.
Yeah. Just start naming old the guy that did the ballerinas.
Degas.
Degas. I forgot his name.
That's okay.
Oh,
it's just an old white guy.
I need more Red Bull. Can your friend hook us up with some Red Bull?
I know, it's funny. I did Red Bull chalkboards for so long, and I can't drink Red Bull. Like I told you guys today, give me a half cup of coffee. Red Bull, way too much coffee.
Just add water to it.
We'll soon find out in the after show. No. We'll have a challenge of
To
full Red Bull. No.
64 ounce.
64 ounce. Oh, that'd be
At
that'd
what
be hilarious.
point do I explode?
Yeah. And then speaking of exploding, we're
Into
gonna
rainbows?
yeah, into rainbows. We're gonna switch over to do our infamous or however you want to call it, our Quick-A-Nay.
The quick.
Are you ready for the Quick-A-Nay?
Yes.
The rapid questions.
Do you want to take another sip of coffee?
You might need to.
Like, should I do coffee or should I do water? I've
You
already
should do
had a
both.
bit of coffee
Do
at this
both.
point.
Yes. But yeah, so
Okay.
so far nobody has gotten an A, because we do grade them. the audience will put a grade as well,
Yes.
just for the fun of it. And like going over some of the other shows, like somebody did get a B plus.
A B plus minus.
A B plus. Oh no, Ricky got a B minus plus.
Oh, spoiler alert for last time
Well,
or
no,
or the future time.
Yeah,
whenever
they can go back into like, because this one's gonna be after Ricky, so like I don't know how
Go
the
back into the
schedule
future.
is. Go back into the future.
Save Marty.
Yes, definitely save Marty.
Save Marty.
But yeah, so are you ready for the Quick-A-Nay?
Yes.
These are very intense. You have to be as quick as possible.
B.
Not really.
C.
Well,
Oh.
but
They're not multiple choice.
they're not multiple
Darn
choice.
it.
Well, technically they are multiple choice.
Yeah,
Never mind.
some of them are multiple
Never mind.
choice. Yeah.
False.
Is that your final answer? So we'll start off with some easy ones.
Okay.
Pen or pencil?
Paintbrush. I mean, pen.
Paintbrush.
Ballpoint or gel pen?
Gel pen.
Favorite color gel pen?
Rainbow. Turquoise.
I
Rainbow.
thought you were going to say gray.
If I can pick rainbow. Sparkly anything. Sparkly.
Oh,
glitter?
yeah.
Sparkly like light lavender on like black paper. That's nostalgic. Like
that is
those
so good.
glowy
Yeah.
jelly.
Yeah, because I feel like that you can only have that on gel pens. You can't have that on ballpoint.
I use Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use white
Yeah.
just for highlight.
Favorite
awesome.
medium,
I'll have to say acrylic, of course.
even though you grew up doing oils.
Yeah, even though I love a lot of stuff, acrylic's kind of the bread and butter in the background of everything.
I can do that. Favorite shape.
Polygossum, which is a painting I made.
which means odd ones.
Odd shape.
Odd shapes.
Favorite drink of choice while you're painting.
Ooh, bubbly, sparkling water, honestly. But I love bubbly everything and anything. It's kind of like a
It's
caffeine.
pronounced buble.
Buble,
So,
buble LaCroix.
so some bubbly coffee.
No, but I swear, just carbonation is like energizing to me, and I need that and music while painting.
Nice.
Or
Yeah.
else it's not
Well,
happening.
okay. Top music genre or top song that you listen to while you're painting.
Oh boy, it's all over the place,
Yeah.
from dance music to alternative to emo rap. So
To alternative dance music.
To alternative.
To emo rap dance music.
So yeah, can't pick one.
A nice small range.
Yes, and like lo-fi. I love chill
Lo-fi
music.
dance music.
Lo-fi hard style.
I can
Nice.
dig that. Coffee or tea?
Espresso. Why do I always want to pick something that you don't say? What is up with that? I just don't.
You get points deducted every time. No, I'm just an espresso is
It's
coffee.
Yes, but it's a little different.
How?
It's a different bean, isn't it?
No, it's
Okay, fine.
It's a
Coffee.
It's
coffee.
coffee. It's coffee.
I believe
Espresso
you.
is coffee. It's just the way you do it. The way you
express.
express the coffee. Yeah.
Aren't they smaller beans somehow?
No, they're just ground finer. And
There's still beans.
and speaking of beans,
Pinto beans.
yes. Oh, espresso pinto beans. Cats, dogs, or exotic pets? This one's very
Dog.
important. Dog? You're a dog person?
Mm-hmm.
How dare?
You're the second person that got it wrong.
I really need a dog too, so I want to get that.
What kind of dog do you like?
Yeah.
I like scruffy small dogs.
Scruffy small.
You know, ones that look a little bit funny that you love extra because they're unique.
Like a little Chihuahua poodle.
Some kind of mutt for sure. But my boyfriend is a big dog person, so we're definitely gonna get something in the middle. So I think corgi mix.
Get a Shiba Inu.
Aww.
Yeah.
Aww.
But that one's more like just standard cute.
Yeah.
What about the what's the
funny enough.
what's the
American Bully?
No, the Mexican dog, I can't remember the name.
Cholo?
The cholo. Yes, you should get a cholo.
Cholo.
It's
It-
like
It's like a domesticated hyena.
Aw.
Have you seen
Haven't
Coco?
seen pictures. Oh, yeah.
The dog from Coco?
Ah.
That's a
yes,
cholo.
it's like it's got a couple hairless spots
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then like just little hairs here and there. Like
Yeah.
it's very weird.
Yeah.
Very
It's
old.
like a domesticated hyena, but it has cancer.
Aw.
It's going through chemo. It's got some
It's got-
little tufts of hair.
Aw.
But they look so adorable, though.
They do.
Yeah, they look so cool.
They
Yeah,
do,
it would be nice to have a studio dog, you know,
Yeah.
with jelly.
Tell them to look for one of those.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Sholo dogs.
Yes. Yeah, that would be a really cool
It'd
pet.
be
Coco-
really
Coco-
cute
Coco dog.
in all my art pictures. Gotta
Eh,
model with.
Yes.
And then that would change your answer to exotic pets.
Okay, yes, because that's not a dog. That's an exotic pet.
Yeah, because it's a very weird, strange breed. But yeah, okay. Moving along. Favorite color,
Rainbow.
most used color.
Rainbow. But if I had to choose, I always tell people it would be turquoise and purple.
Those
So-
are good
so-
colors. I like those colors.
Turquoise and purple. So turquoise.
Don't mix them together like.
Turpurple.
What would happen if you mixed them together? It'd be
Turquoise.
some kind of.
It would be turquoise. There you
Yeah.
go. It sounds better.
But it would have green in it too. So
It would be kind of like grayish though.
yeah.
it would be a little
grayer
grayish.
than
It's like base green and base red. It'll be kind of like a weird grayish.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
A weird like grayish colors. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
Okay, what about
Muddy gray, I think.
round, flat, bright, filbert, mop, liner, or fan brush?
Filbert.
Filbert, you're the other person that says filbert.
Why not just get a flat brush?
Yeah.
I know.
Just put it on the side. Boom, filbert.
I should. It's just because it's satisfying to use. But I do use a lot of flat brushes as well, especially the bigger ones are usually not filbert.
Oh yeah. It's
all your flat brushes, if you use them enough, they'll turn into filbert.
Basically.
Yeah. So you don't have
Yeah.
to spend another. I don't know how much brushes are like
$40.
$8,
Oh.
Mhm.
$10, $12, $15 for a
Well,
filbert.
yeah.
And then
$40.
a follow up to the brush question specific to you. What is the biggest brush that you've used? Because you use some big brushes.
Okay, well, yeah.
Single
it
brush.
was
Single
I
brush,
put
not the double.
two. Well, it can't be the double because I put two 6-inch brushes together for a 1-foot brush, which is actually the biggest I've used so far, but it'll probably go
impressive.
bigger.
Yeah.
But I just bought yesterday the 8-inch brush, so for a single, I haven't used it yet though. So
Are you gonna buy a second one so you could?
have a
too
16
expensive, but it would be nice.
or are you gonna add that one onto the already 2.6?
So you could have a
inch?
20-inch.
Well, they're not the same brand, so you don't want
okay.
to. It might look weird if I'm mixing the bristles.
So
It might do different textures, but I do the paint
That-
so
that-
thick that it doesn't really even matter at the
yeah,
end of the
that's
day.
why.
Yeah.
So you just entered your own question, like, yeah, you can do it.
Might as well just grab a car squeegee and just.
Yeah, we were talking
Ooh.
earlier about cheap brushes and versus expensive brushes, and I was gonna say if you use the paint so thick you can't even tell.
Yes.
And yes, squeegee, like you said, would
Yes.
probably be fun.
Oh, and then another random one. Ring or knock when you're visiting a friend?
Text me that you're here.
There you go.
Say here or outside.
No, you don't want people to ring the doorbell
No,
or
it
not?
scares me. I'm like, who's there? Come on, this day and age, I don't even like phone calls. They're all spam.
Whether do not call, text, do not knock or ring, text.
Yes.
Yes.
Do not email, text.
Only
Do not
text me.
Do not visit, text.
Yes. And the last question, let me see, which one should I? Oh, this one's always fun. Do you finish a sketchbook or just buy another one?
Another one where I'm gonna say both, because I'll buy new ones, but then I'll keep filling them all in simultaneously until I'm using like 5 at once, but I still finish them eventually.
So you buy new ones and then finish them later.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not so much of like a typical sketchbook person because I don't even draw. I mostly paint. So my sketchbook is more kind of like painting compositions and more idea-based sketches rather than like serious sketchbook people who I've always been jealous of, but I'm just not an illustrator in that way. I'm more of a painter.
I mean, you're,
Like,
you're sketching ideas. They're still sketches.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But I'm not like showing off my sketchbook. My sketchbook is more keep
Oh.
that
Like,
away.
I don't think anyone ever shows off their sketchbook.
Yeah,
No,
some people have nice
there's-
ones.
Yeah,
Well,
there's some
yeah,
people,
'cause-
but they
they-
make them with not the intention of showing the sketchbook. They just happen to be like, all right, let me do this challenge or let me just show you
Yeah.
my journey, how I've been doing.
Yeah.
But they don't make it so it's like, all right, I'm gonna paint this nice so that I could show it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if somebody is like showing off their sketchbook, they're using the sketchbook as the canvas,
Exactly.
you know,
yeah.
versus, you know, because again, it's like me note taking.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a lot of notes on different sketchbooks,
Mhm.
notebooks, and I don't intend to show them to people.
Yeah.
But if I were to intentionally show it to other people as far as my process goes, then I would obviously make it a little nicer
Mm-hmm.
and then show it off. But
Mhm.
as far as a sketchbook goes, it should be just, okay, random notes here and there.
Mhm.
I don't know if I've ever finished the sketchbook.
Yeah, you haven't got to the very last page feeling when it's like
I mean, I've
It's
gotten
weird.
because I've gotten to the last page,
oh,
but I skip
But you
around.
skip to it,
I,
yeah.
I skip
Yeah.
around. I don't just go like, all right, one page at a time.
you have to find the blank
yeah,
chunk in the
I
middle.
Just like, all right, I'll just start here
Yeah.
or like, or go here.
Yeah, or even like every now and again, I will leave pages blank in between drawings
Mhm.
so they won't
Yeah,
hit each other
don't
or like smudge
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But yeah.
But these, the sketches for these behind me, the Shift series, I recently made a video where I showed some of the original concept sketches for that, and everybody was like so relatable. Oh my gosh, scribbles, like. But it is interesting how, as long as you follow through with your idea, you can make it something. You can start with a scribble and make it a
Mhm.
masterpiece.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. which is how you should do it.
Yeah, gotta
Because
start
again,
somewhere.
you have to put your idea down
Mhm.
somewhere.
Yeah.
You can't just start on a canvas
Yeah, because
already knowing.
a lot of especially a lot of new artists, they get intimidated when they see all
Mhm.
these other like amazing artists, and then they have the sketch for the painting, and it's like such a
Mhm.
perfect sketch or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, oh, I'm never gonna be able to
Mhm.
become an artist because I don't have perfect sketches.
Yeah.
And then they don't start off as perfect sketches.
Mm-hmm.
They start off as like little thumbnails,
Mhm.
and then they grow into bigger scribbles, and then you refine the sketch to transfer it to the canvas,
Mhm.
or at least
Yeah.
some of us
One
refine
method.
it,
Yeah.
refine it and then transfer it. So that's what they show. They show like a refined version of the sketch
Mhm.
because they're transferring it, not because
Mhm.
like, oh, I just woke up like this
Yeah.
sketching
No.
Yeah.
perfect sketches.
That's why I guess we should be showing off our scribbly sketches
Mhm.
to inspire,
Yeah.
young artists. They're afraid to mess up. That's the thing,
Yes.
and they don't realize that most of art is messing up and keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, and but again, thank you for being a part of the Quick and A.
Yeah.
I feel like you got
Wipe the
especially-
sweat off.
yes. So especially with the last quote that you just said, I'll give you B++.
Yes.
B++.
Plus.
Yes.
That's the lowest
That's
score
my
we
favorite
had.
grade.
That's the lowest score we've ever had. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's
it's-
me.
So I think it's the highest score we've ever had.
Wow, even me like making my own answers.
Well, yeah.
My
Well,
own-
that's what kind of like that brings it down, because everyone starts off with an A+, and then they're like, okay,
Mhm.
minus.
Mhm.
But again, audience members, feel free to comment what score she got.
Because
And,
art is not subjective,
nope.
and there's right and wrong.
There is,
No.
yeah. Like again, pen or pencil. There's a right,
There
or
is a
wrong,
correct answer for each and every single question.
and most of the time is whatever you like. And somebody's still on their phone. I'm just kidding.
I was looking at my notes, realizing I was going off my notes, but that's okay because
Yeah.
there's multiple aspects to the
Yeah.
artist journey.
That's definitely it. And again, that is one of the things that we always try to cover,
Mhm.
especially for the first podcast or the first episodes where we introduce new artists. Is the artist journey, like where are you today,
Mhm.
and things like that, just to give a better behind the scenes of what art should look like, but what art actually looks like more than
Mhm.
anything else.
Mhm.
So with that in mind, how are you doing? Like, where are you in your artist journey? We did talk about
Mhm.
like how you started early at a young age, and you
Mhm.
had prospects of doing a specific career, but then
Mhm.
having to dial it back. And
Mhm.
so where are you today? How are you
Yeah,
doing?
and then starting freelance jobs even at a young age. And I am doing good. I am happy to be at a point where I am finally steering away from commission-based work and focusing more on my personal art because it's taken many years to get here. I went full-time freelance in 2017. So that's, that's 5 years to even kind of get off the ground. And that's totally normal. It's
Mhm.
totally normal to take longer than that. But I did a lot of commission work, and it's really just started to drain me a bit to where I just don't like doing it as much anymore. So I'm a lot more selective. I have clients that have always supported me that I love, who I will never stop working for. But just trying to navigate how to set boundaries and not say yes to every single thing, but to think more about how I want to be spending my time, because life is kind of short, and I just turned 30, so starting to feel like, there's not infinite time. I'm still young, but you do have to make decisions for yourself. So I'm good, and I'm lucky to be here, and I think, it's really part of the journey is just going through all those hard years to get to do what you want to do. And I still have to think about money. I live in Los Angeles, and I still have to figure out how to cover rent. And some of that is my personal art, and that's pretty rad. That's an
Mhm.
accomplishment,
Nice.
Once you start making enough where you gotta pay taxes and things like
Mhm.
that, it feels pretty cool, even though you have to pay a lot of taxes.
Like,
But at the same time, there's a lot of tax write-offs too.
True. Oh, all those art supplies.
Everything, including meals,
Mhm.
including
Mhm.
haircuts, including clothes for shows.
Mhm.
But that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
That we
that's
might
a deep dive for
yeah,
sure.
we might dive into like
Mhm.
even some of the business sides on another podcast with maybe like a group of artists or
That
whatnot.
is good. I'm glad you're planning on that, because there's so many podcasts about the fun parts of
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
that the tax business side was really, in the beginning, I felt like I was just teaching myself. But over time, I found other resources, and I found that just following artists that I love online over time helped me kind of learn how their businesses are structured and
Yeah.
what mine could look like. So that's been my
yeah,
biggest
we're
teacher.
gonna call that episode "Bizartist."
Bizarrest.
But yeah, because that especially learning from others and seeing how they do it, asking them questions and stuff like makes it easier on the journey.
Yes.
Hence why we're even just doing this podcast, like just so other people can see that it's not easy.
Yeah.
But it does get easier once you know kind of what you're doing. And you'll get there.
Yeah, because that confusion is real, and I went through it, and so if you can spread a little bit of knowledge to aid in that confusion that the journey presents, it helps.
Yeah, and even for like some of the business side of it, like do you because I know you make your own canvases and stuff like that. Like how does that work? Like how do you do that process? Because again, it's not necessarily the artistic side because you already did the painting or you're planning to do the painting, but you also make your own canvases. So that's
like
a whole different artistic side.
Craftsmanship side. Yeah, there's a building side that I love, which I guess I found later in life. I'm like, when did that come up? Because I was always painting. And I guess it was really when I kind of started my business. That's just me. I'm a one-woman business, so I'm very do-it-yourself, which can hurt me because it's good to ask for help. So that's something I'm still learning, but I do everything just like you guys, from my own photos to my own videos and marketing and advertisement
to your own canvases
to my
too.
own taxes, and my own canvases. And a lot of that started with just interest on how a canvas was built. I felt like this is something I spend so much time in front of, painting a canvas, but I want to know how this thing came to be too. So it was just fun to learn. I had a high school teacher, Kathy at Canyon High in Anaheim Hills, who
shout out to you.
who taught me how to make canvases, and we wrapped them just in fabric, plain old fabric, and then we would put gesso on like where we wanted a figure to be and then paint on top of the fabric. And that just like blew my mind, like, oh, you could just build the thing yourself. You could do it on cardboard if you wanted. That teacher really taught me that like anything goes, and you can make it. But then of course I started making my odd shaped canvases too, and that just can't be bought at a store.
Yeah.
So when I'm building something, I'm buying more of my square canvases because it does take a lot of time. I would say it's great to learn, but you are spending a lot of time doing that if you're building every single one.
Yeah.
But it's cool because it opens doors to new shapes, new inventions, new ideas. I want to make some kind of 3D canvas this year. Not sure exactly what it's going to look like yet, but I have some ideas.
Ooh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I've seen, like, speaking of 3D canvases, I bought a rectangle, a longish rectangle shaped canvas that had like an insert. So it was like there was a smaller rectangle that was just inserted inside.
Oh,
I don't know how to.
so it was like a frame around it,
Kind of like
canvas?
yeah, kind of like a frame. So it was it was kind of weird.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll show you. I'll show you a pic if I still have it, or if I still have the picture.
Yeah,
but yeah, you could buy some that are kind of weird like that, but they're so rare.
Yeah,
to
you
come
can buy
by.
like, I've gotten a heart for something before. Diamonds basically a square, you could rotate it, but there are like actual diamonds and hexagons, things that are real shapes, but I like to make not real shapes, so
yeah.
What do it myself.
What did you call them?
Polygosm is my big one. Polygosm, and I have a funkalellogram, and I have other ideas. I want to do a rectangle. Let's get wrecked.
Which is just a rectangle just slightly askew.
What about making a D20 canvas?
Ooh.
That'd be pretty cool. And yeah, so with you making your own, like, how does your workshop look like? Because obviously, an artist will have obviously a bunch of canvases that are already made and brushes and paints. But obviously, when you making your own canvases,
just have a bunch of wood and a bunch of rolls.
Yeah, do you have
rolls
like
of canvases?
Rolls of linen and tools and everywhere besides all the paint materials?
Yeah, I'm lucky that I still have all my woodworking stuff in my mom's garage. So it's a hard thing to do because I live in an apartment right now. I don't do it there. I don't have a garage space or outdoor space. And I can't fully use a miter saw on my balcony and things like that. I could do a sander and small things, but not big things there. And same with working with resin, like that's tricky because you can't do that just in your bedroom because it will stink it up. So, you have to get creative sometimes. And I do resin in the same space I do my woodwork, which is not good because you want to have a dust-free space for resin.
Yes.
But that I got one corner, instead of parking in my mom's garage, I was like, I'm going to make a little workshop, and she's let me leave it there so far. So, if I didn't have that, I'm not sure where my wood shop would be. I'm not sure here in LA if there's some kind of community workshops you could go to, but I would like to look into that for.
We do have.
Aside from the gallery here.
Yeah. Like, we do have a lot of space.
I mean, people could totally rent your space if they needed.
It's like, because.
But I have had heard that like some people use, or go to like a college or something and ask if they could be,
use their like woodworking shops.
Use their space just to do some projects. Even though they don't go to the college, but some people still get permission to utilize the space. But I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder, how they have ceramic places where you can do pottery if there's
woodworking spaces. Go to Home Depot, just in their parking lot area.
Yeah.
Like, can I use your tool? I just need to do this real quick.
Well, because they can cut it for you at Home Depot, but it's like one cut, You can't make them cut a punkalelogram.
I have these dimensions that I need cut. Help.
This is a 46-degree angle right here.
Yes, please.
Or even just like use the tools that are on displays. Like, can I preview? Like, I wanna see if this works for me. I need to do all these little pieces. But I'm just testing out the machine. But that is cool that you create your own canvases. And was it hard to just learn how to do? Because I know, especially with all those angles, they all always have to add up to 360. If I remember my geometry class.
You already know. I realized that after I started making the shapes. I was like, why are some a little off? And it finally clicked. Oh, it's supposed to add to 360. I'm not the biggest mathematician, although it's fun. Like I said, it's hard for me to remember numbers, but I calculate it all. I have it all written down. You have to measure twice, cut once, hopefully. And a lot of it was YouTube. For me, learning on YouTube.
We got another YouTube University alumni.
I mean, who isn't these days? Yeah, but I did have a friend who I first learned even just how to sand with, because I just getting used to power tools. Some people have never used a power tool. So I would say like a sander, like an orbital sander, or even just like getting used to using a power drill are good beginner tools before you start with the saws. But my first saw was a miter saw, which is used for framing, and it's attached to like an old desk, like a table. And I like that one because you just bring it down with one hand and you don't have your other hand holding anything, or it's not just a free saw like the orbital saw or the jigsaw or circular saw and the jigsaw, but
and the saw and
the miter saws are good.
All the saws
So if that's, you can do all framing, all canvases with a miter saw, because you just need those 45-degree cuts to make those 90-degree angles.
To make the 180-degree angles and then complete it all the way to
times 4.
All the way to 360.
We did it, guys. We
all
did
right.
math.
Now, can you do a kickflip? Like what? And were there like moments when you were either building your canvases, or like you mentioned some of the part of the shift series that were emotional? Were there moments where uh everyone has highs, but were there low moments while you were painting where it's like, I don't know if it's gonna sell, or I don't know what I'm doing?
Yeah. So much of that. I mean, so many aspects of this whole journey we're talking about, have a lot of self-doubt, a lot of what am I doing kind of things. But there was a lot of actual physical, just mishaps and things. Like with resin, one time I did a resin table and I recovered that table like 6 times because every day there was something wrong with it. Every day I would coat it in resin. I would come back the next morning to my little garage at the time, and one day it had a fly stuck in. I had to sand out a little fly.
Oh,
It
no.
felt like a serial killer.
It could have just been like, oh, it's a Jurassic Park fly.
Should have just left it.
Yeah, it's in the amber.
One time there was like a whole hair, and it's like if it's a little fuzz, it's not that bad, but it was like a whole hair. The
Like,
next day,
I wonder whose hair it was.
the next day, because I was trying to keep the dust off of it, I had a tarp above it, and the tarp fell into the resin. So that was a lot of emotion because each coat of resin was like, I swear, $80. It was a lot of resin.
Yes.
So early on, a lot of my emotional mishaps and mistakes, I cried over spilled paint once. Because I mixed a huge thing of white fluid paint and I've put it in a glass container for some reason. I mean, because I reuse a lot of old containers is the reason, but accidentally dropped it. And that was like, it was like over $100 worth of material in there. And I legit did cry, but that's just what you go through. And I have moments these days where I'll mess something up or, like say one time recently I was taking pictures of my work and a camera fell onto it and dented my piece. And you just kind of get used to those experiences and you stop crying so much because it's part of it, just like you make mistakes while making art. There's so many mistakes that can be made, between transporting art and things like that, shipping art. Be scary.
And I feel like that's a good mentality, to overcome those doubts. Just it's part of the process. It's gonna happen. You will fail. And just like, okay, cool. Dust yourself up, stand up, and keep going.
Yeah, and it's okay to even be upset for a second
or two.
Like some people are different with their emotions, but I say just feel it. And then you'll get over it instead of just kind of holding on to it, and just get through it and you move on. And then another thing happens. Got to do it all over again until it's a little bit.
Yeah.
I call it like exposure therapy, right? If you're exposed to bad stuff right now, because I only recently moved to LA, I'm like exposure therapy with LA traffic. Just get out in that traffic and it won't be as painful. The more you do it.
Just for the traffic wise, just blast some music and do your own karaoke.
Oh, that's
in
the
car.
best. Yes.
Yeah,
totally.
Listen to podcasts like our podcast. It's available all over the place.
Available on all these platforms.
Or even like just create your own podcast on the car. Instead of just, because obviously every now and again we'll talk to ourselves or we'll be thinking of things while we're in the car. Like we'll just say it out loud and record it.
Right?
Podcast 405.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're driving and you're lost in thought and then you're like, oh wait, I'm driving. Don't forget you're driving.
Don't forget you're driving. Yeah.
Listen to my "Oh God, I'm driving" podcast.
Oh God, I'm driving. Just go on a tangent. Like, you just. Oh God, I forgot I was driving. I'm driving. Yeah.
Every 5 minutes, driving.
I know, and like on that same train of thought of like, oh God, I'm driving. Like, have there been moments where you're painting something and then you completely space out and just forget, let's say, you put something in the stove, or it's like your coffee just went from like,
Have you
it's brand
accidentally
new
burned your house or apartment?
Not necessarily that, but like I do it every now and again where like, okay, I sit down, I have my fresh cup of coffee, I sit down in my office, and then I start working, and then I completely forget I have coffee, and it's like,
and it's
frozen.
so cold.
Yeah.
That like every day, especially making art, my studio being in my own home, I just wander in there, I'll be cooking food and wander in there. So all the time, I did leave like the stove on one time recently, but it was on low, so it was okay. But all the time, I'm very ADHD, just wander back to whatever 8 art projects I'm working on, Sometimes I won't
all the
even
sketchbooks that you have left
yeah, all those
unfinished.
sketchbooks. I won't even change out of my pajamas some mornings because I just roll in the studio, and then 12 o'clock rolls around. I'm like,
Oh, no.
I'm still in my pajamas, and now they're covered in paint.
I'm
to
an
go
artist.
Yeah.
Art life.
Time to go shopping.
Yeah.
For me, like sometimes, I'm drawing in my bed. So I go to my little table that I have. I get a canvas. I have like my pencil because I'm gonna start sketching on the canvas, and then get my little lap table that I have somewhere in there, and then go onto my bed, put my pencil down and the canvas, and then get comfortable, put my lap table on my lap, get the canvas, and then like, where's my pencil?
Yeah.
Where's the pencil? And I'm looking all over the
You're
place. I have to
so
get up.
comfy and
Yeah, I
you're-
have to get up. And it's like, can't find the pencil. So I have to get another one. And then as soon as I'm done, I get up again. It's like, oh, there's the pencil.
You were sitting on it.
I wasn't even sitting there. It was just right there.
Yeah. It's like right next to the other pencil that you left there the day before.
Yeah. It's like, I would assume I was sitting on it. That's why I would check like under my thigh or whatever. But no, it was it was just.
Yeah, that does happen.
Always like a comfy bedroom art session. Like when I'm feeling a little extra low, I'll bring a little painting set into the bedroom, even like on the bed, I'll get something in my lap there. Or I do use an iPad for a lot of my designs.
Yeah.
So a lot of my concepts are done, in the wee hours of insomniac time, 3 a.m. on the iPad, so that's a great tool to have.
And then you look out the window, it's like, is that a sunset or a sunrise?
Oh, and
I can't remember. Is it one or the other?
I've been recording the colors that I see out my window because, as you all know, I love color. And I'm really fascinated with sunset gradients and how much they vary. So now, thanks to insomnia, I can record those colors. And hopefully I want to make a big art piece with all my squares and inspired by all sky colors.
What if you you know how you have this print series?
Yes, it's called the Radiant Gradients.
Yeah. Imagine cutting each of those little squares and then creating something collagey with those squares. Creating a sunset or a sunrise with those
So
squares.
like painting them on a canvas and then cutting them all out.
Yes. And then cutting the little squares.
Or there's no point even using tape at that point. You could just paint it and cut a square out. I don't know.
You can just individual or
you can pre-cut the squares.
Pre-cut the squares, tape them onto a board or whatever, and then
do it there.
Paint your gradients, but then using those little squares,
and take them off,
and then making like a little collagey
art
sunrise or
that
whatever.
Sounds fun. I'm not so much of a collager myself. It was that.
I mean, it's just
something I never so much.
Gluing the
I know.
together.
I know.
It's just together like in the collage.
Well, that's the thing with art. It actually is interesting. Through the years, I was thinking about this the other day. How many people have suggested to me, you should do this? How many people who send you, as you know, like send you
it's
videos?
It's definitely the best question that, or the best suggestions that you should walk up to every artist and suggest something.
Do something.
Just for the look in their face.
Okay, so for
Now he's going again.
okay, so for this idea that I just I was like, all right, you should do this. All you gotta do is like, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And then just leave it at that.
Oh yeah,
It's like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, maybe.
That's what I used to do.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
just more comfortable, to be honest with you. Thank you. But yeah, I have had so many people throughout the years. They send me like, the gunpowder art that people do, where they light it on fire. They're like, you should do this, and I'm like, literally, that's like not. It's not even color. Like, why would I do that?
Oh, you should get like the fog machine and then just spray paint the fog into different colors.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
how do you spray paint fog? Yeah, that sounds dangerous.
And then again, speaking on to dangerous situations and suggestions and whatnot. Well, what tips, tricks, or things like that do you have, or would you give other artists or upcoming artists that are just starting their journey? Give me a little bit of time so you can read your notes.
I got it.
This entire podcast is scripted. We know exactly what we're gonna say every single time.
Down to the ums.
Yeah. Yeah, but what tips would you give someone who's starting out?
Well, one of them that I always thought I grappled with myself when I was just experimenting and learning was kind of being inspired by other artists and feeling like I was copying them. Even when I wasn't directly copying them, I didn't fully realize that like it's okay to kind of mimic other artists, as long as you need to give credit whenever possible, especially if it looks like someone else's art. If you're vaguely inspired and switching it up in your own way, that can be different. I would definitely say when you're starting out and you're using other artists' techniques, like make sure to credit them. They really appreciate it. But, it's totally okay to, if you don't really know what you want to make, to just kind of mimic. And we already talked about this already, just practicing those technical skills that can then be kind of a jumping off point for you to define what your style will be eventually. But yeah, so that's okay. It's okay to mimic. It's hard to come up with an idea that's like 1,000% original these days. Everything is kind of a remix of something else. So you have to find a combination of things that you're passionate about and that you love and kind of mash it all together and see what you get. And that's why one of my other notes was figure out what your priorities are. Art should be about having fun. So figure out what you want to do, not what other people want to tell you to do. Right?
So with the squares, you could have like two colors within the square, kind of like in a triangular shape, not just vertical.
I'm doing a triangle one next,
You're doing a triangle square?
Yeah.
A triangular square.
A triangle.
Wait. I do want to make sure, because this is important stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Important
yes.
stuff. If you're looking for a good read, I recommend Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's creative living beyond fear. It helped me a lot, especially starting out, about how to love your work and kind of not attach yourself too closely to it. Like,
yeah, because you're gonna want to you're gonna need to sell it, and if you're attached to it, it's like, I don't want to sell it. Like, you need the money.
Yeah.
and like things like that.
Yeah, like that. And I guess it also depends on what avenue of art you're going into. But Elizabeth Gilbert is a writer, so a lot of her books about writing. And for writing, it's like you have to listen to publishers' advice and notes, so you can't always be so attached. And with the art that we do, we kind of make whatever we want. So we're not really being critiqued in that way, but there's still a lot of letting go you have to do as far as, you know.
We've talked to a lot of artists that they want to do shows, but they don't want to sell their art.
Yeah.
So it's like,
or even on that, because obviously she was talking about writing and publishing and how the publishers might have different notes and stuff like that. Like gallery owners or studio owners, they'll might have advice or demands or requirements
for your portfolio.
To even just submit. Because again, we have a gallery, and one of the things that we always tell artists that are wanting to be part of our shows is something as simple as making sure that your art is hang ready.
Yes.
Is like
the basics.
The basics,
there.
like it must be able to be hung, and the artist might not know what that means, or might be like, well, that's not my job. Or like, I'm focusing on the painting. Well, like, well, then how are we gonna hang it? But yeah, having that aspect of not being afraid to listen to those critiques, listen to those what would you call it, like suggestions and stuff like that. Like suggesting the art that he's wanting me to do.
It doesn't have to be a sunset. It could be kind of like a landscape with no sky. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the book, we will link it in the description. So if anybody wants to read it, I'll probably end up getting a copy of it and start getting a little art book collection to be able to suggest it to anyone else who might want to listen to other people besides us talking and stuff like that.
And can I add a couple more points, which
add as many points as you need.
Try to make artist friends so they can tell you what to do. No.
Well, I tell people make sure it's hang ready. That's what I tell them.
Yeah.
Do it correctly.
Into animals. Collage the squares into like little geometric animals.
Aww.
That'll be cool.
Very cute. Cute. But really, because you want to start building a local community of art friends to help lift you up, just like these fellas here have, help lift our local community and kind of form your own community too. So I think that's really, really important. And my last bit of tip for beginner artists is fake it till you make it. I was listing art on my website and advertising it, sending out coupon codes, all that. Before I was making any sales, I was just pretending to be an art business. And then I turned into a little bit of an art business where I did start to make sales. And I was like, ooh, I was kind of faking this for a while. And now it's
like,
happening.
Oh, wait, people want to buy? People want to buy art?
They believe it's real because I was faking it.
But at the same time, I love that term, the faking it till you're making it. But like what you were doing was just being professional.
Just do it. Yeah, be professional.
Just be if you want to sell art, you have to make sure you have a website. You have to make sure that somebody can buy it on your website.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you can ship it. And it's like, you have to just be professional.
Yeah.
You have to look professional.
Like you said, hang ready. Like you need to make sure you're not making it harder on galleries or people who are hosting events.
Or on the collectors themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Especially.
Yeah. And, it's like, and be truthful about it, where it's like, yes, this painting is this size and whatnot. And it's like, yes, it weighs a ton, like, because it's got a wood frame and stuff like that. That way, when they see like, oh, why is shipping like $50? Well, it's the canvas, it's on a wood frame and it weighs 50 pounds, and things like that. And, but yeah, just being professional.
What is your heaviest painting?
Ooh.
Probably that one that's here because it's framed on a big wood panel and has resin, and that's the frame is adding weight, the resin's but it's still not too bad. I don't think I've made anything
it's
over.
like 50 pounds, I think.
Is it?
No,
I don't think it's that much.
Sure?
I think it's got to be
like,
more 20.
Yeah, 20-ish, 15, 20 pounds.
It always seems like more.
Upsell the shipping.
But even like the shapes that I make and stuff, you think they're going to be heavy, but the packages end up being under 5 pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because you use pine wood for
Yeah, some of them's different. Some of it's poplar, some of it's pine, some of it's MDF, some of
Okay.
it's recycled wood, some of it's things I
Yeah,
bought.
So
So,
a
MDF
lot.
gets heavy.
So yeah, most of those woods are kind of
yeah, when I
lightweight.
was using, they're not red oak frames.
Oh yeah, those are heavy.
Yeah.
Those are heavy. Those are heavy. When will you be using mahogany?
Mm.
Like, most likely it'll be a mahogany veneer, so we just the
Yeah.
outside covering.
Oh, and I did
No.
want to say, you were talking about, be transparent and professional. And if you're selling your art online, you want to take a lot of pictures of all those details, because if someone can't be in person with the piece of art, how are they going to see all those details
Mhm.
if you're not taking pictures of the sides of the canvas and the back and the corner, and make sure, be thorough, be thorough.
And even the back, because like it makes a big difference.
Mhm.
There's some collectors that they want to make sure that obviously the front looks good, but also like what kind of canvas is it and stuff like that. Where is it high quality canvas?
Yeah.
Or is it just cheaper back staple canvases, or is like because they want to know that it's
Yeah,
gonna
is
last
it
a while.
gallery
Yeah.
wrap or
Gallery wrap or
Yeah.
back staple or museum wrap or whatnot. But yeah,
Custom made canvas.
or
Yes.
custom made canvases.
brag a little, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah, hand stretched canvases.
Yeah,
and-
hand stretched, custom made.
yeah.
Hand built frame.
And
Mhm.
yeah, I like those tips. Those are some really cool tips.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I was able to get them out there.
Yeah. And then again, adding to those tips, like
Mhm.
what artist would you recommend people check out? I know
Yeah.
you wrote some down.
I do have definitely some artists that inspired me and some art friends, but someone who I'm a really big fan of is Devin Walls. She's in Orange County, I'm pretty sure. I've been a big fan of her pink, purpley, kind of surreal. It was abstract, but it turned into more like representative, surreal, like Magritte we were talking about.
Yeah.
I love her. She really inspired me. One of the artists that just witnessing her business inspired me, as well as LA artist Andrea Gazzetta, who also does bright colors. Lisa Frank, pinks and stuff.
Yeah.
All these bright color
Andrea's cool.
bright color artists. Yeah, okay. You guys know
yeah.
what's up. You know what's up. And I love the illusion art tape artist Daryl Carey. And then some of my friends, Catherine, whose name on Instagram is Chase the Sunlight. She does these really cool, colorful expressionist portraits that show really deep emotion, and they're really captivating. And then last little plug, Ashley Wright, who I think is going to be on your show, right, is another vibrant
Yeah.
artist that
I
is
love
local,
her
and I love.
texture so
Oh yeah,
much.
yeah.
I mean, obviously colors,
hmm
but adding to the colors, the texture that she uses.
For sure.
So good.
The combo
So
of
good.
both is kind of creating something new.
What if
Yeah.
your squares you add?
I do love some like modeling paste to add. I've
Yeah.
experimented, but haven't fully kind of put that texture into my work yet. We'll see. With the oil painting, I do love the
yeah,
texture.
the textures on the
Mhm.
skin on the legs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
they
looks
look
good.
really nice.
It's fun to kind of contrast smooth background with like highly textured legs, but so I want to experiment more
No, I-
with
I-
some oil painting.
I
Yeah,
like that.
I think that'll be good.
Yes.
I like it.
So
Yeah.
what's
like
the
it. I
next
think-
idea here?
If they were my legs.
No, what if
Need
you?
to add some hair.
What
no, mine are pretty clean, man. I shave every day.
what if you add like some human legs, but some like animal legs, some
Or
like
alien
bird legs,
legs.
alien tentacles.
You're going different species here. I was actually thinking arms were reaching out somehow from the
inside.
void or whatever.
Okay,
yeah.
so there's this one artist, Zachary. His Instagram is spectacular.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Yeah, where he has his painting,
Mhm.
and then he's got like a little either
A
a
little-
diamond or whatever, like
Mhm.
and then you could see
The
the,
little
space
alien
Monster
space
coming
monster with
in.
aliens coming into the painting.
But he needs more rainbow robot, more rainbow colors.
His colors are not bright enough, you
Well,
know.
like,
Actually, he uses a lot of like neon
No,
colors.
they're great.
Yeah, but
so-
again with the limited palette, not full rainbow.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
you're right, huh? Yeah, it is
It's like-
limited.
it's very 70s, like the
Pastel-y.
pastel pinks.
It's that
the
70s
neon green.
architecture. I think he uses golden neons,
I think
and
so.
they look so
Yeah.
nice.
But yeah, no, and again, all these people that we're talking about, we will link them in the description so you can check them out, be inspired by them, let them know that we say hi if you ever see them. And but yeah, no, these are amazing artists. And
Mhm.
I'm glad they've inspired you, and hopefully they inspire our audience as well. And well, final plug is, where can the audience see your art?
So at the moment, it's online and at the Ruano Gallery. So,
Another plug. No.
Yeah, I mean,
So come on down.
I've done a lot of shows with you guys, and I'm sure we'll continue to do some stuff this year. But at the moment, nothing else big planned. What is planned for me right now is getting back to the studio and making some stuff, and
Creating.
then seeing,
I
how
can
to
do
get it out
Creating
there.
and then figuring out where
Mhm.
to put them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have some products planned as well. I'm gonna finally do an odd shape sticker pack because I've been
Ooh.
making so many of these shapes, put them all together in a sticker pack, and some other ideas in mind as far as little product things, fun things as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
But all coming soon.
Yes. And that is to your website, which is tashavision.com.
Yeah, tashavision.com. I usually will update if I do have events. That would be on my homepage right there. Also, sign up for my mailing list if you want to be notified when I do shop updates, because I always let my email subscribers know first when there's new stuff available, because they get first dibs.
Yes.
Nice.
And again, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast. We will have the after show right after this, so you guys will be able to listen to it the following week. But again, audience members, all the links will be in the description below. Feel free to share it with your friends and have them also be inspired. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for embracing the rainbows.
Yes. It needs more color though. But in the meantime,
What if you
before-
make
before
like
I'ma
the
cut you off.
squares? What if you make the squares and then
I'm
just
trying to do the outro.
Adam make it like into the
you've been listening to the LAArtist Podcast.
into like the rainbow.
You have been listening to the LAArtist Podcast. Feel free to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss the latest episode. You can see bonus content on our Instagram at LAArtist Gallery, as well as our website, laartistgallery.com/podcast. Stay creative, keep creating, and no matter what, be passionate about your art.